Canva Create 2024, which to me is kind of like a second your favorite holiday here thing, unveiled some what I think game-changing updates that are going to help out individual teams and enterprises. And in this video, I'm going to break down the top 5 things that hit me out of the massive list of updates and new features that they're giving us. It's all about ways that are going to help us create and collaborate better. So let's get this party started, shall we? Welcome back, my Canva friends. I know I'm not alone in loving this tool. And now that Canva Create 2024 is in the books, I think it's time to talk about some of the things that really popped out at me from the initial list of things that they are providing for us. I definitely got the vibe that they were focused on, obviously, creativity, but there was a lot more collaboration focus, I felt. And definitely a lot more stuff for managing a team. And clearly they are courting the enterprise because, officially or not, a lot of us are using their tools in enterprise organizations. And they're now trying to get the companies to pay for it instead of us, or take us from our free account into a paid account, which is all fine and good. I know some people are going to have some concerns about the focus on enterprise. Personally, at this point, I'm not worried because they've got to keep growing, and that is a big market. And let's face facts, they're going after Adobe, and I'm okay with that. So take that as a grain of salt on top of all of the things we're going to talk about here. Right up front, I just want to cover, because the one thing I was a little disappointed on in the big event that they had, well, first of all, it was a little cheesy for my taste, but that's me. But really what I was hoping for, in addition to all the good stuff I knew that they were going to tell us about, the Affinity acquisition, I was hoping for some more details on, and there really wasn't any news. They did mention the acquisition. They did bring the Affinity CEO out, but that was all we got. We did not get any insights into what their plans are, how things are going to play out. I am cautiously optimistic with concerns, right? Because I love the Affinity toolset. If you've been around for any length of time here, you know that I'm a big fan of not only the tools, but the way that they're approaching the work that they're doing. I'm really hoping that that's going to be maintained going forward, but at this point all we can do is wait and watch. So I wanted to get that out in front because I know a lot of my Affinity people were probably wondering the same thing. Okay, so Marcus is hot in with the questions. Love it. Okay, let me see if I can bring this up here. Come on, there we go. So Marcus wants to know, can we collaborate with other Canva users, or is a team account needed? Well, talk about taking away all of the suspense here. I'm kidding. You know, I'm fine. I always love your questions. So you can already kind of collaborate with other people. Like, you can invite people to come and look at the work that you're doing and all that kind of stuff. That's already been there for a while. Yes, the things that they have added are definitely focused on team accounts. So the answer to both is yes, if that helps any. Yes, you can bring other people in to look. So like I do that a lot with clients, right? So when I have a client and I'm working on something for them, rather than, emailing back and forth and stuff, I can just invite them to look at things. Now, there are levels of what they can and can't do as a guest. But again, if they create a free Canva account, it gives them a little bit more. So yes, you can do that kind of collaboration with others. Whether or not they are a Canva user, I think is still true. I can test that. We can go over that in another show. But definitely the things we're going to talk about today are things that are tied to the team account. So I hope that helps. Yes? Hopefully. All right. Is that going to not go away? Of course that's not. I've been mucking around with my shortcuts, and there's always a price to pay for that. But come on, I have all these toys. I have to play. Okay, so let's get into what's really going on. But I did want, like I said, I wanted to get the Affinity stuff out of the way. Alrighty, here we go. So first up is what they keep calling the glow up, right? It's a marketing spin on the fact that they have cleaned up the user interface. So, it's like any other UI change. They're trying to make things more streamlined. They did some cleanup. They definitely did some decluttering. I think that they hit the sweet spot, right? So having worked on these projects myself, for those of you who don't know, I do software design for a living. There is a tipping point, right? Anytime you make changes, somebody's going to be unhappy. That's a given. People in general don't like change, even though they say they want it. We're weird. Humans are weird. So I think they did a good job of, making changes without making it so dramatically different that people are going to throw up their hands and walk away, because that does happen. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to switch over here. Oh, no, we're not. Okay, there we go. And let me get that out of the way. So this is a side-by-side of the current and the new UI view. If you want to try the new UI view, let me just get this out of the way first. If you go here where this says the For You, you may still, if you click on that 7 times, you may still be able to turn on the new user interface. If that, I think they said they were going to allow the first 1 million people to do it or something like that. So if that's not still available, but this is what they're talking about. You're going to click on the For You 7 times. And then some little animation happens and it'll give you the new UI. If that doesn't work for you, don't stress over it. They're obviously going to roll out the new UI to everybody pretty darn quick. So it's just if you want to, feel special that you got in early. I did it because I wanted to be able to show you this side by side. So on the right side here, this is the existing, and on the left side here, this is the new UI. And this is going to apply to free and paid accounts. So you can not have to worry about that too much. But I'm just going to touch on a couple of things. I mean, as you can see, it looks a little bit different. It has a slightly different feel to it. Let me just get this going here. But definitely, I think, decluttered is the first thing that jumped out at me. This got a little bit, more narrow. You've got, your icons are here now. Is that not showing up? Let me move this over a little bit. Let's see, like that. There we go. No, don't shift over. There we go. So yeah, to me, this is still taking up the same amount of space, but it's presenting differently. Like you've got all the icons, where this has just got the wide menu here. You still got the stuff in the core. You can still see your projects, but there's a little less traffic, a little less clutter between you and your projects, right? Currently, you have to scroll down quite a bit to get to your projects. Whereas now, your projects are more prominently displayed, but you've still got your shortcuts up here and all that kind of good stuff. You can still do, the custom stuff. You can still upload stuff. So you've got all your basics are still here and in place, which is lovely. So let's just go into something. I'll just go into the thing I did for this. Oh no, this won't work because this is the other account. Well, here, we'll just grab something. It won't be an exact match, but it'll be close. Here's just something I did from a previous demo, right? So when you're in something, no, I have that open already. So this is how it used to be. When you open something up, you immediately got this side panel opened wide. Now you see when you open it, you've got the icons, but the menus don't show up until you actually select something. So again, a little less clutter, a little more focus on what it is that you're working on. You can right away go in and click on stuff. Without having to close this to get it out of the way, which I think is a nice touch. The other thing is, so like right now, if you go here and you want to make a change to, your fonts and stuff, all of that shows up on the left side. In the new version, and keep in mind, it's a new version, so things may be a little wonky. It happens from time to time. You're doing more of your selections here. And when you really start to get into something, and again, it's all new. You've got, your shortcut kind of stuff here. But when you really want to get into the details of it, it's opening up on the right. Now, again, some people are going to love it right out of the gate. Some people are going to freak out over it. Personally, I like this better because I think it makes it clearer what is your main navigation, which is the stuff on the left, and which are your tools when you're working on something, which now open on the right. So if that helps you think about it, maybe that'll be, to approach it that way, that might work better for you. But again, this is where it gets a little hard for me because I do this for a living. So I'm thinking about it in these categories. I don't know if everybody's going to automatically feel like it clicks that way, but I do think over time, I think that rhythm is going to work for people. So your mileage may vary. Okay, we still got this. Good. So we've got that. What else? Oh, so then there's also the floating, which may not show up because I have this, side by side like this. But when you're working on other things, like you'll get a bar across the top here to work on things like, shortcuts and some of the other font stuff and just the stuff that you're used to seeing. But like I said, it's not showing up here, and that may be because I've got this so compressed to do the side by side. So take that for what it will. But it's like the text editing tools are now, that's what they're calling the floating menu. So it shows up here on the top. Let me get my little tool. So when I'm not squished like this, it shows up here. And it's, stuff like, text and italics and bullet lists and all that kind of good stuff. So again, as you play with it, you'll start to see this stuff. And some of it, like, it may be so intuitive, like it may not even trigger for you, which is even better. All right. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, this kind of gives you that's just like the general feel for stuff. I'll just bring that down so we can go full screen with this. But this is the other nice thing about the fact that these don't open automatically is that, like, you've got the room. So, like, you're just here and you just want to work on stuff. You want to change your text. You want to move your elements around and all that kind of stuff. Like, you've got more space to focus on whatever your project is, which personally I'm a big fan of. But you can, like, once you go into something, it does stay open while you're working with it. So it's not like you're going to constantly, every time you have to select something, be opening it. Like, it's an intelligent design in that it is staying open when it makes sense to stay open, and then it goes away when you are done working with it. And you have control over that. You can either toggle it, from here, which again is not working for me in the moment, which is typical. It's typical initial release day. But you could also come up here and just hit the X to make it go back away and get your full area to work with. And there we go. Well, my floating one came back again. So there you go. That is the super basics for that. So now let's go into some other fun stuff, shall we? Okay. One of the things, and they've kind of fixed it by kind of decluttering and making things easier to work with. But one of the things that did frustrate me a little bit every time was being able to quickly get back into my projects. And now, not only have they made it easy because my projects are right here, I don't have to scroll down to get to them, but there's this other thing that they've added that they're calling star. Right, so you can star your designs and folders, which will make them show up here and make them easier to get to. And that is, for me at least, the use case for this, right? I am going to be starring things like crazy because while this seems like maybe a small thing, for me, it's going to be a huge time saver because you can either star like your favorite designs that you want to keep going back to, things that you are working on most often, the things that you're currently working on, so your top projects. Super important time saver for me. They're always going to be there on this side. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So again, we're going to come here. So you can do it right from here, right? You can go ahead and select the style, or you can do it from inside one of your designs. And it's designs and folders, which I have not been using, but I think I'm going to be using more. So as an example, like if I pick this one, come on, right? You see it shows up here right away. And this one, and let's say that one. Let's say these are the three right now that I'm working on the most. So they're here, and you can rearrange them, right? So if you wanted something else to be at the top, or you want to move this one down, you have that level of control in it. So you don't have to go digging. You don't have to go scrolling to get to it. It is all about making things easy and accessible for you. And then if you don't want this one here anymore, if you're done with it, the project is over, you're complete with it, you can remove it and it goes away. You also get your most recent. So you still also have this. So in addition to having your recent designs here, you also have a list of them here. So again, it's just trying to make you more efficient, to make things easier for you to find. And you're not having to go through and dig through endless folders, scrolling forever. It's just, this made my heart happy immediately. As soon as I saw this, I was super happy. It definitely was like, yes, please, thank you. Give me more like this. CK, hello and welcome. Yeah, I am too. Like I said, I have found some bugs. That's sort of my superpower, which is handy considering what I do for a living. I just seem to naturally find bugs, and so yeah, there's a couple of little things that have come up. I've already filed my bug reports, and that's to be expected. Anytime you roll something out, especially on this scale, there's going to be some little tweaky things. You know, you can test 4 months. You can have your entire team testing. You can try to find everything, and you will catch a lot of it. But the reality of the world is every system, every OS, you know, with the browser, like all these combinations, it's impossible to catch all the bugs. So be patient with them. If you do find a bug, go ahead and report it. That will be helping them. Be nice about it. They're doing their best, and they really did try to set it out bug free. That is always the goal. I can tell you as a software designer, it's always the goal, but it is an impossible goal. So be patient with them. They're going to work on it. Oh, Marcus. Okay, so maybe just to level set for everybody, what I'm doing here is just like a high level run through of my top 5 favorites from my initial reaction, you know, after watching the keynote. I am, you know, I'm gonna do deep dives, but if there's a particular deep dive that you want me to do, if there's some topic that I'm going to touch here or something that comes up while we're talking that you want me to do, you know, a fuller explanation of, please let me know. So please reach out. You can email me. You can put it in the comments. You can do whatever you like. But, you know, another easy way is, you know, to get on the mailing list, because then you could just reply to the email or go to the website. There's a form there. Let me know what you want me to cover next, what you want to learn more about, what you want to see in action, because that's what I'm here for. That's what this is all about. So, yeah. So, yeah, Marcus, as far as the folders go, it's important, and it's something that, like, it's something I do normally everywhere. I don't know why I've not been using them more inside of Canva, but that's going to change. It's time to get more organized. So yeah, also I've got a lot of client work coming up over the next couple of months, so that's going to really amp up the need to be organized. So I'm definitely going to be working on that. Okay, I've really broken my shortcut there. That's, whoops, no, we don't need the confetti anymore. That was fun before. Make that go away. Okay. Was that going to go away? There we go. Got it. All righty. CK, let's see here. Bring this up so I can read. I'm looking forward to some of these features with your local humane society. Well, the local human society would need it too, right? You're doing their social media and content creation. That's awesome. Two things near and dear to my heart: getting the word out and helping out the critters. I am on board. By the way, this is completely aside, but I love the photos you're posting of your dog. Thank you for sharing those. They make my heart happy. And you know how I am about the critters. I can't help myself. They're so cute and fluffy. Alrighty. Anyway, Marcus, thank you so much for your membership. I do appreciate that. You are an awesome human being. Thank you. Not just because you're subbing. You're an awesome human being in general, but I appreciate that. Alrighty. So next up, we are going to talk about the courses that they created. And because I was impressed that they were doing that, but also it didn't go where I expected, and so I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I want to make sure I cover this. So yes, you can create your own courses in Canva. However, let's get this cleared up right up front. The purpose of this is not for creating your own courses to sell to people. They are training for your team. So team is going to come up a lot in this conversation, and understand that team is the doorway to enterprise, and that is where they're going. So the focus for this is that you can create custom learning experiences for your team. And the examples they gave were like onboarding and new hiring and best practice and that kind of stuff. So you can kind of think of it as taking, like, maybe you would normally do, like, you know, a PDF or a presentation or whatever to do training. You're kind of taking that to the next level and making it available to people to provide for their team. So this is all tied to the fact that they are, you know, very much looking for bigger footprint, right, out in the marketplace. And so one of the things to keep in mind, and I'm going to actually share this. Of course, the links are all in the description as always, but I think that this might help. Did I not grab the right link? Oh, that would be bad. Moment, please. All right, well, this will kind of work too. Okay, here we go. So I'm finding that I'm referring to this a lot when I'm explaining this to people. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at it. The link is in the description, but they are presenting things this way for a reason, right? So the whole presentation was around the different teams at work, right? Now, it just so happens that as a solo entrepreneur, which a lot of you are, right, we are marketing and sales and HR and create, right? We are the whole thing. But the reason that we're seeing stuff like the courses tool is because of this. It's because of the fact that they're definitely trying to target the larger, right? And that can be, you know, small, medium, or large, or enterprise. But you'll notice that when you look at the site and they're explaining this stuff, it is very much targeted around those things. And they're trying to present them in those things. And so just keep in mind that that's why you're going to be hearing some of the things and seeing the things that they're doing in a certain way, right? There is a method to all of this. Go back. But the reason that they did the courses the way they did is because they're right now focused on that internal selling part of it, internal education part of it, right? It's not selling. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to show you how to get to this so you can go and check it out. And that is, you're going to come over here to more, and you're going to pick course. Now, this is one of the first things that you're going to see that is different from doing it in the existing UI. Let's see, do I still have that open? I may have already closed it. No, I do still have it here. Okay. So again, we're going to switch back. This is the existing UI. You don't see, oh, no, this is the new UI. Sorry, this switched over. We'll stay here. So, but you'll know that when you go into more right now, it does not present this way, but the courses are here. Okay, so this is where you create your new course. And so we're not going to get into details on this, but you can give it a name. Here, we'll do the usual. Everything is hello world. You can give it a description, right, to explain it. And then what you do is you can come in here and you can add whatever you want, right? So anything that you have created inside of Canva, a presentation, a whiteboard, a document, a video, anything that you are doing, you can add into this to build out a course, which then you can save and make available. So I'm just going to grab some random stuff. No, we don't want to create new. Let's just choose it. I'm going to grab random things. Here, we'll take my Canva stuff. How about that? Right, these are terrible examples, but just to show you the process, right? So I'm choosing existing things. You can choose things that have been shared with you, so things that other people created on your team or stuff that you've got here. We'll stay with Canva. These are all going to be thumbnails because that's what I've been doing mostly lately, right? And then you can come in here and you can specify, you know, how people are going to interact with it. You've got a lot of choices. And like I said, I will go into this in deeper detail if you'd like, but at this point, this is just to give you that idea. And then you can save it, and then you can assign it to people on your team to make it available. Now, I am a team of one, so that's why I don't really have anything, but you can go ahead and add people here and do that kind of stuff. This is going to be, I think, a really good foot in the door for some enterprises, right? Because they all need to do training. But again, depending, and not necessarily just enterprise, like this could be like a smaller company or medium-sized company who needs to do this kind of stuff, but don't have the resources or the time or an entire team to dedicate to doing this kind of stuff. This will be a really nice solution. Now, it also does kind of help Canva because in order to use it, you have to be a member of the team in Canva. So there is that part of it, but it is a very cool concept. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. Again, I have no insight. I have no friends working on that team, so I have no idea what their long-term plans are, but given that they're spending the time doing this, could this evolve into something else if it gets used a lot, if the requests come in? Absolutely. But just out of the door, it's a nice way to kind of level up the materials that you're already creating inside Canva and maybe using for internal training, making them available, easier for people to find, And then, of course, it's also going to feed back some reporting. So in the demo that they did, it showed how you can show that, out of your 10 teammates, 3 have completed, 2 are in progress, what they're, using, how many they've gone through, all that good stuff. So there is a lot of possibility for this. And I think it could be something that turns into something bigger if a lot of people use it. But like I said, just out of the gate, the fact that it's a better way or an additional way to make that content available that you're probably already creating on some level, that's a slam dunk. I'm very impressed with that. Not something I expected to hear from them, because this has not been where they're going. So it also, to me, shows that they are thinking long term. They're thinking, bigger, which is a really cool idea. Along that same line, right, is the idea that, they are doing a lot to enhance team collaboration. They are making it so much easier, giving you way more features to do it. They've improved, I think, the commenting features, real-time editing with your team, the version history, which I talked about a little bit earlier. But the other thing that I thought was interesting, and again, I don't have a team. If you want me to do videos on that, I'm happy to set up a dummy team so you can see it. But one of the things I thought was really cool, having worked on those kinds of teams before, is the fact that they already have the brand hub, right? Which is a good place for you to go and put all of your brand rules and assets, right? So we're talking your logo, your color palette, your fonts. You can also specify your corporate voice in there. Not an audio voice, but the tone of how you want to communicate. Are you being super professional? You're being, friendly? Is your company a funny kind of company? Like, all those kinds of options are there. And the team tools plug into the brand hub settings. So if you go in and you say, here are our fonts, here are our colors, here are our assets, and here's the tone we want to use, you can then limit's not the right words. You can help your team members stay on brand by providing those things to them when they go into work on their projects, which is really nice. Also, some of the AI that they showed in the demo made use of that. So when you went in to edit something in a presentation and you're one of the options was to adjust the tone of the sentence or the heading or the paragraph or whatever. So again, very cool, nice use of something that was already there and taking that and building out to the next level. Big fan. Okay, so I kind of touched on this, but we like to do this. So for anybody who's new here, welcome. We're happy to have you here. My name is Kathleen. I'm your tech coach. Short version of the story is technology is my day gig and my hobby. So my friends, family, neighbors, and coworkers tend to turn to me when they have questions or want recommendations. I know not everybody has somebody like that, so hello. That's why we're here. Every week I bring a topic. You are always welcome to come and ask questions. Let me know of topic that you want to cover. Please don't be shy, because that's where all the best content comes from. So, okay, we got that covered. All right. Canva Docs are probably my second favorite way to do online docs, second only to Google, and that's merely because of all of the interactivity that you can get there. Being able to have a team of 5 people all working on the same doc at the same time is so much more efficient than, here's my draft, give me your thoughts, okay? And then I have to call all of this out to put the back. It's just so much easier. And clearly, Canva has been paying attention and is looking to work that way, because a lot of the cool stuff that I saw was around Canva Docs. Now, again, Canva Docs is not just a fancy word processor, right? It is a collaborative space, and it has been, but they keep adding to it, right? So whether you're brainstorming or working on drafts or designs or whatever, it is becoming more and more friendly for that kind of team effort. Also, the fact that you can add things like videos and graphics and stickers and all that kind of stuff, it makes the documents more interesting, more engaging. Because, heaven knows, we don't need another boring corporate document out there. There's enough of those. So some of the things that they did, they cleaned up some of the general formatting. Let me actually bring one up here. So you don't have to go through multiple steps every time to apply fonts and that kind of stuff. They have made that a little bit easier, a little bit more straightforward. It's out of the way. So for an example, if I select this, and I want to make this an H1 heading, you could do it before, but it was more clicks. But now, it's right here, so you can do that. There are other, places where you can go ahead and get more text styles. So you can get all these pre-formatted ones. You can also, add to your brand kit and your document styles. So if you want to have like a whole list of different ones that you can just go in, click, and go, that is all built into this now, which I think is very, very nice. The Magic Write, which, again, it's AI, so you do have to keep an eye on it, but it is the kind of thing that can be helpful. Just it does need the human touch. So if you come in here and you're like, okay, I want some help from Magic Write, you can, I'm not sure if I need to do this or that. Okay. So you can highlight what it is you want to work on, and it's got all of these different options, right? You can, keep writing. You can tell it to shorten it, just generally improve it. You can change the voice, and if you've specified a voice in your brand kit, that'll be here to select from. Fix spelling. That is something that has been missing from this, and I kind of wish wasn't just in Magic Write, but okay, I can live with it for now. Make it more fun, make it more formal. Sprinkle fairy dust, which is sort of a random thing. And you can also do a custom AI prompt, right? So if you want something more out of this, you can go ahead and do that. So let's just go ahead and let's just pick one just to see what we get. This is just public domain text that I went and grabbed. But let's try a fairy dust. Let's see what that gets us. Okay, so there we go. The dawn of an epic journey. So it kind of just randomly spiced it up a little bit. Let's try another one. Let's see. This is the kind of, this can be very much a rabbit hole. Let's make it more fun. There you go. So, you can try these, you can do them. Now, you do need to keep in mind that for some of the AI stuff, you have a limited number of credits every month. So, pay attention to that. Yes, I know, that's the thing, right? So, okay, hang on. Let me bring this up. This is why I'm laughing, right? Make it more fun, right? That's the kind of thing a client says, right? Make it more fun. Make it like, it's like, okay. But it does kind of give you a way to do it. And if you have the time on your project to try it, it's a good thing to experiment with. If nothing else, it might help trigger an idea for you. I don't always love what comes back from any AI. I'll be upfront about it. AI is not AI. That's a whole rant I'll do for another time, but the short version is it's not intelligent. It's pattern matching. That's not the same thing. Positronic brains are not here yet. However, it's not a bad tool to use to spark some new ideas, to give you another way of thinking about it. So I would say, go ahead and do it. Right. They're trying, right? It's an evolution. It's all new. It's early days for all of this stuff. But yeah, let's take boring text and hit more fun 7 times just to see what comes up. And I'm already starting to see this in corporate emails, it cracks me up because it's so obvious, But okay, when suddenly, the corporate emails, I have a certain corporate tone, and then all of a sudden you start to see funky shit showing up. It's like, I know where this came from. Which is fine. It's all fine. It's all good. Experimenting is good. I will never, ever get on somebody for, trying something new. That's the whole point, is try it, give it a shot. Let's see here. AI is great if we were stuck in front of an empty dock just for the jump start. Exactly. For me, that is a good use of what they're calling AI today, right? It's for sparking ideas. It's to getting past that blank sheet of paper problem. For all of that, it is definitely serving a very good purpose. Just don't ever go to AI and then just use what they give you, because trust me, you're not going to be glad that you did. Anyway, so yeah, there's a bunch of other things you can do with this, but again, just for high level stuff, this is definitely working out. Okay, sorry. That's me. Why? There's definitely a bug here. Leave it to me to find the bug, especially while I'm live. That's always going to happen. Alrighty. So there's that one. All right, so let me keep going here because I'm trying to not deep dive, but I love this stuff, and I lost several hours today playing with all this stuff, and it's a good thing. Okay, so another thing that they've added is the idea of different modes for your documents. So this is something I felt like they just borrowed directly from Google Docs. Not that Google Docs created it, but the concept and the approach is pretty much the same. What I'm talking about is being able to set the document that you're working on in edit mode or suggesting mode or commenting mode or read-only mode. The difference is editing is creating, it's writing. Suggesting is making edits into the document itself, right? So rewriting a sentence, that type of thing. And then it gets presented back to the owner of the document, with, who made the suggestion. And then you can choose to use it or not. And to use it, all you do is click on a check mark, and then it makes a change. If you decide you don't want it, you can hit an X and it goes away. Whereas commenting is specifically that, right? So you can go ahead and you can select a paragraph or a couple of words or whatever, and then type a little note next to it. And then read only, of course, is pretty straightforward. So we won't get into that too much, but it's just here as another option, and it's another collaboration tool. That's really what this is all about, because you don't necessarily want to give everybody access to all of the things. Another thing, and again, like I said, I'm happy to do a deep dive on all these, but the whole docs thing, like that could be like a 2-hour, so I would need to break it up into little pieces. But they've given us real page breaks, which makes my heart happy, because while I do use the continuous page thing in Google Docs all the time, I don't want it all the time. And it's been a little dicey inside of the Canva Docs to specify your page breaks. Well, now you can just add your page break, which I think is really awesome. Okay, now I said I wasn't going to do a lot of these, but there's next one I have to show you, and that is columns. Happy music, party time. Like, I was so excited to hear this. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at this. Okay. Now there's a couple of different ways, again, to do this. I'm just going to show you my favorite. Let's just put a space in here. Let me just say, I'm curious. I think it's probably here as well. Yes. Okay. So you can select. We'll just pick one, right? So let's say, you wanted to add a 3-column block in here. You can do that. And then, you could take your text and pop that in here. I'm not going to get like too overly specific with it. Oh, come on. It didn't like the way that I grab things. Or you can just type, right? But there's more. So if you come over to Elements, they have predefined and kind of fun and funky column styles that you can add. So you can grab ones that are basic, like this, predefined, or the cool colors. So these are nice because this is a very quick way to go ahead and do something, that has, the images and all that kind of stuff. And then you can put your text in here. Like, that's really nice. But I'm going to have to control myself on these because these are cool and fun. So like, this one here. So it gets you the little background, and then you can do your text, and then you can put images in here, and you can do formatting, like you can do all the stuff you can do in a document, but it gives you really quick columns. And I have personally, okay, yes, this is, let's make this all about me. This has been one of the things when I've been doing projects for clients, like I've had to like jerk around with it. And, you do the fake table thing like you used to do in HTML 1,000 years ago. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about this. You can also do what they call highlighted blocks, which is just, basically a block of text that you're going to do. Let's see if this is in here. Okay, we'll go ahead and show you. So you go in and you do, like this little plus sign is the big thing. And so if you do highlight, you see highlighted blocks. And again, a whole bunch of different ones, information, success, basics. So you can go ahead and grab one. So you want to say a little note. And you've got the little bit of color, and then you can do your text. Again, when you're doing user guides, how-tos, all that kind of stuff, you can change the image. These things are really important in a layout. It's that kind of visual clue to somebody when they're scanning a document. That's really important. Presently, before this, building these out could be done, but it was clunky at best. So this is really nice and handy as well. Again, it's the kind of thing I just want to caution people, like, try not to get too carried away. Go ahead and, use them, try them, but, don't make your entire document a series of highlight blocks. Try to balance it out, because when they're used like seasonings, right? When you're making a meal, the seasoning is not the main part of it, but it's an important part of it, and it does spice it up. There's also, if you build out your styles, like you're using H1, H2s, if you're, putting notes in, that kind of stuff, and you label those out. Inside of the tool now, you can build out an outline, which you can also use as a table of contents. And when you're using that kind of a structure, Canva will build it out for you. Now, this is something that has been around in word processors for a long time, but I won't kid you, okay? I work in corporate America. The number of people who are using, let's say, Microsoft Word and are getting the visual appearance of, okay, this is an H1, this is an H2, as opposed to actually using the correct styles for them, world of difference. But if you are following that, and if you are, applying things and structuring your document the right way, then the tools can help you. Half of my life is reminding people how to do this in corporate America, because somebody will write their 55-page document that they're going to send out to everybody, and then they're like, my table of contents isn't working. And I know right away why. It's because they went in and they highlighted each heading and set the font and the size and all that, instead of creating or using an existing style to make it an H1 or an H2, and we have to have that conversation again. And then they're always unhappy because they have to go through a 55-page document to do it, or if it's my boss, I get stuck doing it. So yes, that is all that. Right, yes, exactly. Highlight everything, right? When you get a new toy, you use it for all the stuff. Yes, do try to rein in that impulse a little bit for this stuff, because if you use it carefully, and appropriately, it can really have a very polished, impressive effect on your audience. But when it's not, then it feels like maybe your kid got in there and started playing with crayons. Right, Marcus, exactly. So it feels like, yes, you have been down this road with me, right? Who needs tabs when there's a space bar, right? Or who needs to set styles with padding on the left and right side if you can just use tabs? It's like, but then it doesn't wrap right. Yes. So I have a lot of those conversations. That's why I started doing training videos, because it saves time. It saves time for everybody. It's a good thing, right? So yes, absolutely. And I'm laughing at, I'm laughing with, not at, I swear to you. That is what it is. I woke Murphy up because I laughed too much. Okay, so the next thing is Canva for Enterprise, right? So there is definitely a major focus, which I kind of thought that I heard a little bit of last year on their big announcements, but this time they came right out and said it, right? Canva is serious about catering to larger organizations. And what they're doing, and what has kept larger organizations from going here, is security is a big part of it. Price is also going to be a part of it, right? But so they have gone hardcore about enterprise grade security, which helps us too. Advanced admin controls, seamless integration with other workplace tools, Microsoft Office. So Canva for Enterprise is definitely going to be a big focus for them. It is going to be a big moneymaker for them if they can hit the right windows there. So yes, I know some people are like, but what about us individuals and us small businesses? They're not forgetting us. They're not throwing us out. They're just looking to expand their business. So they will build out a whole team that is just focused on this. We're not going to lose the teams that are working with us. This is just an expansion of their business. So it's okay. I promise it will be okay. Again, I don't have any insider knowledge. I'm just saying, based on previous experience, life experience, that's I see the roadmap. Even though I don't have access to it, I get a feel for where they're going. All right, so let me know if any of these have sparked your interest. If there's something in particular that you would like me to explore in more detail, I'm totally happy to do that. I'm going to do it anyway. But I would prefer to do the ones that you're interested in first, rather than the ones of just, hey, I want to go play with this. And as always, thank you for joining today's stream. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe and tell your friends and all that kind of stuff. It really does help the channel, which is why I say these things. I know you know this, but I also know that if I don't hear it from somebody whose content I'm looking at, sometimes I forget to. So that's why we do this. Okay, now, for you folks who power through to the end, you know how much I appreciate you. And so we have been doing extra bonus content for you because everybody else is left. So here's a couple more things that I wanted to share. They weren't in my top 5, but they were like right there in the top 10. One is bulk create. So they've kind of danced with this a little bit previously, but they've definitely beefed up the functionality. And so the idea of this is if you need to create like dozens of social media posts or, report content, but also like if you are the person who has to create like business cards or ID cards for their badges and all that kind of stuff, you can now create templates and then like swap out a photo and title and email address and phone numbers like from a spreadsheet. So you can build out a spreadsheet of all the ones you need to do, go to your template, marry the two together, and the tool is going to build them out for you. You don't have to do all those copy paste anymore. That I know for some people, like in very specific jobs, having Canva automatically generate stuff from a spreadsheet or a list or whatever is going to save hours of work, and definitely lower some people's stress level. So that is a big thing. Then there's three things that are being added only for Canva Pro, for the people who are doing video in Canva Pro. This might be the three things, or maybe at least two of the three, that make somebody go from free to paid. So just keep that in mind. The first one is enhancing the audio. So we've all done it, right? You went out and you did a little, recording on your phone, or you did a project and it did not, go as well as you wanted. The mic was not positioned right. It wasn't set up right, whatever. And things are a little echoey, or you're getting like, we're probably getting the air conditioner noise now, but it was too hot to turn it off. This auto enhance will go in and clean it for you. Now, just for level setting, I pay for a tool called Audiate from TechSmith. Okay, jumping outside of the Canva world here for a minute, that I use for a lot of the recordings that I do of other people doing training, especially in my corporate job, because we're doing it remote. People don't always have the best setups. Half the time they don't even have a decent mic. And so in Audiate, I can go in and I can do a lot of adjusting and clean things up and really make it sound better. This is the Canva version of that, right? It's basic, straightforward, right? So you go in and you turn it on. There's not a whole lot of controls today. That will probably evolve over time. But I did a test on a couple of things. I can't share them because they were client things, but I wanted to see what the level was of, like, I don't really think it's going to replace my $1,000 Audiate, but how much could I get away with, with just my existing Canva Pro license? I was impressed. It did a much better job than I expected, because some of the stuff I've tested it on was really muddy stuff. So I would highly recommend that you give it a try. If you have Canva Pro and you have some audio that you think could be better, I'd say run it through. The other two, I think, sound the same until we get into the details. So one is highlights and one is auto trim. Highlights you can give Canva a video and you can select this option, and the AI will go through and try to identify key moments in your video. So again, I played with it a little bit to see, and it did okay. There's a lot of different use cases for this kind of thing, but for me personally, I think that this could be really handy if you've got, some video that you need to go to edit that maybe you're not super familiar with, like you did not record it. Somebody gave it to you and asked you to edit it, which means you have to watch it sometimes several times. So this might save you a little time, because it's going to take a stab at going through and highlighting, and pulling out for you the things that it sees as useful or good quality or whatever. Obviously, you're still going to have to go through the whole video yourself, but it could streamline that process for you a little bit. I was impressed with what it picked up when all I had to do was hit a button and say highlight, and it went through and said, yeah, these are good. The flip side of that is auto trim. So where highlight doesn't make any changes to your video, it just marks segments for you to go and look at to decide whether or not you're going to keep them. Auto trim goes in on its own and does just that. It is trimming. It is going to remove stuff that it does not think is good quality in your video, or does not fit the tone of the video or the message of the video. As with anything like this, like I had sort of mixed results. A short video, it did a pretty good job of like trimming out some ums and ahs and places where I repeated it because I wasn't sure the first recording was good enough. It's not going to replace anybody who gets paid to do editing. But again, for a quick on the fly kind of thing, I do think that is worth giving a try. So there you go. There's your extra bonuses. Thank you so much. It really does help the channel for what it's worth. When you stick all the way through. So I do appreciate you. I know that that's not always It's not always fun, but I do appreciate the effort. Thank you all so much. Again, if you have anything that you want me to do a deep dive on, sooner than later, please let me know. You can reach out here, fill out the form, let me know. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy. That's what it's there for. Otherwise, I will, of course, be picking out some of my favorites and going in through and doing. And I will also pick out those based on the questions I get from people just in my day-to-day life, because I will be getting a lot over the next few weeks. If you want to know what's coming, because there's some stuff coming, go ahead and join the mailing list. It's yourtechcoach.com/mailing list. There is no, I don't sell my list to anybody. You're not going to get inundated with, crap from people. I won't do that to you. This is just a way for me to let everybody know ahead of time what's coming. And the folks on the mailing list are the ones who hear about everything first, although I do apologize. They did not hear about this show because I actually had a different show scheduled, but I got so excited about the Canva stuff. I was like, okay, this show will happen next week. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for coming and hanging out. Jason, I saw you show up over at Facebook, and let me know, because I'm impressed because I didn't think Facebook was working tonight. So thank you. Thank you. Marcus, happy weekend to you. For those of us in the US, it is a holiday weekend. So woohoo. Double reason to celebrate. I hope everybody is having a good one, and we will see you next week. I am here every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching on the replays, all the links are in the description, and I do come back and read all the comments. Plus, like I said, you can always reach out to me on the website. Okay? Go play with Canva. Let me know what your favorites are. I'm dying to hear not only what everybody's favorites are, but how you're going to use them or how you are already using them. We will talk again soon. Have a good one. Bye.